We now need to move on and complete our main courses activity. And this is good as it will give us an opportunity to revisit a lot of those big concepts in this section. So I've closed down all of my files, so I have an empty editor, and my project pane is still closed from the previous lecture. So I'm going to go and open my project pane now, if you can do the same. And if your folders are closed for any reason, like that, then open it up to our Java files. So top level folder, it's the apps source files, the main source files, and it's the Java. And then you'll just need to open up your package directories. So if you can get to this same view as me with your project pane open on the Java files. Now, if you remember from when we made the starter activity, it's fairly straightforward to make the activity the layout file and add it to the manifest. We just right click, we do new, and then we can hover down to activity and we can select empty activity from there. But just for a change, we're going to do something a little bit different. Just escape that. We're now going to make the main courses activity from scratch. Now for the rest of the course, it will be absolutely fine to use the new activity setup wizard. But in making this from scratch now, which won't take too long, we can see all of the things that happen when we make a new activity. And by uncovering these individual bits of setup that Android Studio does for us, we will gain a slightly deeper understanding of what's really going on under the hood when we add a new activity to our app. So, on the project pane, in your Java package folders here, right click, and instead of new activity, do new Java class. Okay, and we're into that class setup wizard that we used when we made our dish class. So we're going to call this the main courses activity. So a capital letter for each word, so main, capital C for courses, capital A for activity. Make sure it's on kind class, not anything else. And there's just one more thing we need to do to make sure we get a window to use and all of the methods like onCreate, so we can actually get the layout set up. And that is we need to make the superclass app compat activity, capital A, capital C, capital A, and autocomplete that. Later on, we will be learning about inheritance. But in short, we need to inherit some behavior, some pre-configured, ready-made behavior to actually have a window on the screen. So main courses activity, class, and superclass of app compat activity, and then press OK. And by doing the superclass in that new class wizard, we have these words here, extends app compat activity, and it's also taken care of the import for us, which is great. In short, we are just extending Android's app compat activity. We're taking their template default screen with all that useful behavior that we don't need to worry about, and we're able to use that and make it our own. Okay. And the second thing that doing the new activity wizard does is it puts in the onCreate method for us and adds the setContentView method. So we'll need to do that from scratch as well. If you remember when we made our dish class, we were able to use the pre-existing toString method by just typing it, and we can do a similar thing here. So we can just start typing onCreate and find that existing method that we need. So with a lowercase o, on, uppercase C, create. Now we need to be careful here. There's a lot of very, very similar named methods, onCreate panel view, onCreate context menu, and there's actually two methods called onCreate. One is protected void, with one parameter, bundle saved instance state. And there's another one, public void, with two parameters, bundle saved instance state and persistable bundle persistent state. Okay, so the one you need to find is the one that says protected void onCreate with bundle saved instance state. This is the method that we need to set the content view on our app. So autocomplete that one. And as you can see, it takes care of bringing in that method, doing the override thing that we'll learn about more when we do inheritance, and it takes care of some more imports for us. We can actually minimize the import block. Okay, good. We'll leave the super.onCreate line. We need that to actually have the window on our screen, but after it, do a couple of line breaks, ensuring that your cursor is still within this block here. And we will manually type the set content view method. So set content view autocomplete. Okay, and the set content view method is complaining because it needs a layout file. So that's the thing we'll do next. So under the Java folder, open up the resource folder now, and open up the layout folder, and right click and do new layout resource file. And following the best practice, if the Java file is called main courses activity, we should name our layout file activity_main courses, all in lowercase, activity_main courses. That's best practice. And we're going to change the root element. In our starters activity, the root element was a linear layout. We made that full screen, and then we put a list view inside it. But in a moment, we're gonna explore how we don't even need the linear layout. If we only have one view, and that view is the list view, then we might as well make that the root element and just set it to full screen. So we're going to do exactly this. We're going to make the root element our list view. And we will later on go back to our starters activity layout and change it so it's only got one element, the list view. So let's do OK. And we now have the list view, and the width and the height is already set to match parent. Excellent. We'll just add one extra attribute while we're in the file and give it the ID that we will need later. So we'll give it an ID of list_view_main_courses, ensuring we've got the plus ID that we need. And there's no contents inside the list view, so we can even make this one element a self-closing element. Okay, so that's done. So we've made our class from scratch. We've ensured it extends app_compat activity, so we have a window on the screen to work with, and so we have access to the onCreate method. We've manually put in our onCreate method. We have the set content view, and now we can give it the layout file. So r.layout.activity_main_courses. So that will now set our layout file to the screen when the screen is created. And there's just one final thing that we need to do. If you hover over main courses activity, it says the activity, main courses activity, is not registered in the manifest. So this is the fourth and final thing it needs to do. So we need to make sure we have listed this in our manifest, in our app's recipe, so our app knows what's inside it. So underneath the Java and the resource folder is our Android manifest. So go ahead and double click that. And just like our starter activity, we're going to add an activity element, ensuring it's within the application tags. So anywhere you like, I'll just do it here. Activity autocomplete. And when you autocomplete, it automatically prompts you for the name. And you can see we've got our main courses activity here to choose. And we're going to make sure it has a nice friendly title in the toolbar. So do a new line and start typing label autocomplete, and we'll do main courses. And one more attribute, we want to make sure that there's a back arrow, and that when we press the back arrow in the toolbar or on the phone, it will go back to the main activity. So we start typing parent activity name autocomplete, and make sure the parent activity is main activity. And then we'll do a self-closing tag. And that is it. So if we just go back to our main courses activity.java, and you can see that the warning has disappeared there now. So when we do our new activity setter wizard, and for the rest of the course it is absolutely fine to use that, it's important to know what Android Studio is doing for us under the hood. It's making our activity class, ensuring it extends app_compat activity. It puts in the onCreate method for us, and it gives us the set content view method. It automatically creates a blank layout file for us, and it puts it inside that method, so we automatically get our layout file. And the fourth and final thing that it does is it registers it in the manifest. For the rest of the course, we will probably use the new activity wizard, but now we have an understanding of what really happens when we do that.